Rock on.
You're on, man.
I'm Morey White.
I'm Tracey White.
And I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation Podcast.
Ooh, I'm going to do a feedback again.
We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus. It's an illusion.
Yeah.
It's an illusion. All right, guys.
How are we doing? How are you doing tonight? That's how we should start. How are you doing?
I'm feeling much better.
That's good.
That is good.
Work is still tough, but you know that's work. That's why they call it work
They call it work,
and not play.
so you can stay at it.
That's
Keep
right.
working.
That's right. But how about you?
I'm doing much better. The last episode, we were talking about all the things, right? So we were talking about Leona, them not having a record of her working at that deal over the break.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
that's been resolved completely.
Well, that's
that's
good.
going to be a part of her next check. So that's
Hurrah.
excellent. The issue with Target and our order, and I'm saying Target out loud and even on this podcast simply because it ends well. It ends very well.
We are not sponsored by Target.
No.
Yet.
Contact me at Johnny at Compass Denver. No, anyway, Target, no, they were fantastic. So when she got a hold of it, and I was surprised by this too, because honestly, it was our mistake. But they were like, okay, no problem, we'll just cancel the order, and you can just resend it. It'll be back in your cart, and you can start it over instead of going, really? So it's on the way. Wow. So all that, they just did it. I went by that apartment. We went by like 3 times. We had a net go by and knock on the door. And one time the kid said, yeah, my mom said she was going to take it to the post office. And then another time when I went by, there was an older guy. He goes, oh, no, there not been any packages. Okay. But anyhow, it all worked out well.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But aside from all that, so that's just the update on that. I think I'm getting sick.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
All right.
I think it just keeps going around.
It's like an
Is that what
allergy
we're doing
thing.
right here?
Yeah,
We probably
wait a
are.
minute. We should be doing this with little masks on.
Does that mean I'm next?
You're next.
You're next.
I don't want to be. I don't want to get sick.
How was your
You're next. Oh, no, we know
weekend?
you were next. How are you doing?
You did the Air Force thing. This
Yep.
weekend.
It was drill weekend. It was a great weekend. I really enjoy my drill weekends. Not just because I enjoy the work. I enjoy the break from the normal grind, but the people I really enjoy. I love like everybody I work with down there. It is such a great unit. Sadly, we had to wave goodbye to a couple of our folks this weekend. One retired after over 30 years of service.
Wow.
And a good friend of mine, I deployed with him. I've talked about him on this podcast. He was the one after our morning meetings, we'd drive around the perimeter of the base that we were deployed to and just talk about everything under the sun. But he retired. Sad to see him go. And then we had another guy that's going to go transition over to a guard job up in Wyoming, a little closer to home, and a job that fits him better. And so that was sad. On the upside, though, did find out that, on the sad side, our chief is retiring. But on the upside, it leaves a opportunity for advancement. And next month, there are 3 of us that are going to be interviewing for this position. I think it might be a cage fight. I'm not really sure.
It should be.
So
if it's not, it should
because
be.
of that, I was working out. I worked out, probably pushed a little too hard, hour or so ago. And I'm feeling that now. But I am going to be the perfect specimen of pumptitude by next drill weekend. So I can beat the other guys up.
There you go. Cage fight for who gets the next.
So one of the cool things was, the 3 of us that are competing for this job. I told those other 2 guys I love them dearly, and I said I didn't say I love you dearly because I don't know how to do
that's
it.
not cool.
But I said I just want you guys to know it doesn't matter which one of us gets selected. I'm going to continue to work hard with you guys and for you guys. in whatever capacity.
It should be you. It needs to be you.
We'll see. Well,
you the man.
We'll see.
You get my vote.
Well, thanks.
There's no vote.
I wish that counted.
Cage fight. Cage fight.
It is the military.
Well, I
We're going to
forgot
shoot
to
each
mention
other in the last one to die.
I'm going to tell you that is how you get a leadership position at Compass Church. The Compass Cage Fight Night.
Yeah.
No. But we do it virtually. We go to Skyrim at Morey's house.
In VR, yeah.
I like
that's
it.
Great. That's great.
No, just kidding. Obviously.
Had some kids over. It was fun.
I bet it was.
Yeah. All right, so we missed you, of course, Sunday, since you were at your girl weekend. Yeah. There were a few more than I thought were going to be there. Yeah. So a few people who thought were not going to be there had changes of plans, and they ended up being there.
Oh, that's good.
And then, weirdly, the people we expected to be there also had changes of plans.
Very good.
And we're not there. So maybe this Sunday, and maybe you can join us this. It's not that kind of podcast. All right, so did you guys, I'm sure you're curious about what we talked about.
I am. Morey started talking about it a little bit before we started the podcast. The love component, right?
Yeah, so basically we've been talking about some questions we can ask ourselves to determine, where we are spiritually right now. And it's sort of like a heart check, a spirit check. Are there any red light indicators that there's a problem? And so the first one, of course, that you guys have had a lot of fun with the past few weeks.
Does your sin bother you?
Does your sin bother you? Are you okay with your sin? And if you're okay with whatever the sin is in your life, it's not bothering you, that is a huge warning sign.
Yeah.
That something is not right.
Right.
So that doesn't mean that we're all perfect. It just means if you're a follower of Jesus, that's the idea.
Right.
That's the prerequisite. And you're just okay with sin, then that's a problem. So the next question, that's why we spent so much time on that, was because
it's a big thing.
It's a big thing. It's important. So the other thing, and again, you could filter, I guess, all the others through that, but we're not. So the next question that we were asking ourselves was, what?
You were asking, is your love for others? Wait. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase. Your love for is your love for others growing? Wait.
It's so close.
Something like that.
That's that idea. You got it. You got the essence of it.
Yeah. Are you?
Do you have?
Okay, it's only been one Sunday. So, and that was yesterday.
Sunday was yesterday, man.
But I've slept since then.
I think I wasn't even there, and I think I know the question better. Actually, I don't.
No, you don't.
Okay, so
do I have a growing love for others?
Do I have a growing love?
That's what I was saying.
I understood that, bro.
Okay.
But look, and I know that you knew that because you actually said that before we started.
I just put you on the spot. And honestly, part of the reason I put you on the spot is because I went blank myself.
Perfect.
And the phraseology of it.
Perfect.
I know the
You understand the core concept of the question. And that's kind of what's important.
I think so.
More than...
Although it is worded in a specific way.
It is, yeah.
Because do I have a growing love for others means... If the question that we had to ask ourselves was, do I just love everybody? Right. It's not really a good measurement question because I don't think most of us love everybody. And I think that's fair and honest. But if you are growing... Oh, did it die?
It died. We're still recording. Hold on. I'm sorry, Johnny. Please pause that. The app died. I want to see if it'll continue on with... interruption.
Was it just?
I think we're good. All right, we're good. Sorry.
Oh, I was frozen.
As you were.
As you were.
Maybe that should have been more like a...
I don't know how much...
I actually have a point to make about this.
Well, what was I saying? Remember,
because if it was, do you just love people, then it can be an empty question because you might not, or your love
it's
for
too
somebody
big a thing. I think to be realistic and honest is to honestly ask yourself, am I growing in this area? Right? So if I'm starting to care about people differently than I did last year, or when I first started following Christ, am I growing in this? Meaning, I'm not there yet, and that's the great thing, that whenever we ask, am I growing in this area kind of question, we're acknowledging that it's a process, that we're becoming more and more like Christ, and it's a lifelong journey. It's not just like, yep, I got it. Next week, I'm super Christian.
Right.
So do I have a growing love for people or for others is a great question to ask. And there were a number of passages of Scripture we read
We did.
about this idea, because it's not optional. I mean, you cannot become more like Jesus and not begin to care about people. You just can't, So anyway, you were going to say something. I'm just yakking.
Well, when Jesus was asked, what are the greatest of the commands, right, of the commandments,
Which
he
was
started off with you've heard.
It was. They were trying to trick him.
They were trying to trick him.
Yes.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Right?
Yep.
And we talked about sin. We were over and over and over on sin. Are you okay with your sin? If you are okay with it, then you are purposely separating yourself from God, therefore not loving God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And the second was basically love everybody else. Love your neighbors as yourself, right? Wait. Yeah.
Yes.
What's that? Yeah.
The second is like unto it.
Good old King Jimmy.
King Jimmy.
But
Write a song called King Jimmy.
So these two questions that you're asking are actually what Jesus has said to do. Love God.
Yeah.
And love your neighbor yourself.
And love everybody else.
Love God, love people. Yeah.
Love God and love people.
Right.
And then I'll get into some other stuff.
And the cool thing about that is he didn't say love God and love some people.
Right.
Love only good people. He said love people. He means everybody,
Okay, and here's the thing. This is one of those things that's the concept is extraordinarily easy to grasp. The follow-through and application of it can be extraordinarily difficult when you begin to put names to those masses. That's something we said Sunday, is that sometimes it's easy to say we love people, but then we start naming someone, and the levels of that start going.
What do you mean? Like love murderers? Is that the kind of name that you're talking about, or?
Well, it wasn't, but of course it applies.
Yeah.
If you love someone who is a murderer, that doesn't mean you're okay with murder.
That's exactly
correct.
Right?
That's right.
And that person, we hope, does something about that murder. There are prices that have to be paid here on earth as well. As God can still forgive, and even those most heinous things. But I'm not even thinking that extreme. I'm thinking sometimes it's my neighbor. Who's always, not my personal neighbor. Just to be clear.
Clarification.
I'm just getting to know my new neighbors, and they're all great. But I'm saying, for example, if you have a neighbor who's always bugging you, or you talk about something and they just, you agree on something and then they change it, or their dog's always barking late at night, or they're always bothering you. They're just a loud party, whatever it is. And again, loving someone does not mean that you approve of everything that they do. That's not the point of love. It goes beyond that.
Yeah.
Love is not. We didn't get to this, obviously, but we're going to go into 1 Corinthians 13.
See, that's
and we're going to talk about
love is. Yeah.
And again, it's not the only description of what love is, because many of the passages we looked at Sunday also talked about this is what love for God is, right? We talked about that last week.
Right.
Obey His commands. Yep. Well, one of His commands, Morey just said, right? Love God.
Love God, love people.
All your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. So anyway, talking about love, there are descriptions and characteristics of love that I think are really foreign to what a lot of people think of when they think of love.
Well, see, I think that's why love your neighbor is so daunting sometimes, is because we have one word in English for love.
Right.
Many other Hebrew, Greek, or is it Greek or Hebrew?
Yeah, well,
One has 5.
Probably more in Greek than
Yeah, they have like 5. So which one's agape? That's Greek.
That's friendship.
That is Greek.
Greek.
Yeah.
Okay, Greek.
It's French.
Yeah, they actually have.
Right.
It's agape. And that would be
Agape
French.
is like the friendship, right?
No. That phileo would be.
Phileo is the friendship.
Is
Agape
friendship,
is like
brotherly
the
love,
general
like
love for
Philadelphia.
everybody. Yeah,
City of brotherly
I
love.
gotcha. Yeah.
But agape is God's love, which is a unconditional kind of love.
It is. But we only have that one word, and whenever you say, I love my wife, or I love my brother.
And I love hamburgers.
Yeah, I love hamburgers. Yeah, you're talking about very different things, even that. And I love you too, Johnny, but I love you differently than I love Tracy, and I love you differently than I love my wife. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yes. Yes.
But we have that one word, and so whenever you say, I love my neighbor, or I need to
love them
my
in the
neighbor.
same way.
Yeah, it's I think because we have just the one word, it's like, I've got to have this fluffy feeling towards them.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I don't.
Yeah.
And love is not a fluffy feeling.
It's not a fluffy feeling, man. It is not.
You can have a fluffy feeling as a result of love.
That's true. And we've talked about it. Love is not a feeling; it's a decision.
It's definitely a decision that is sometimes followed by a feeling.
Absolutely.
Now, again, like you said, there's romantic love, there's friendship love.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about this particular question, though, is that it's stated, the reason that I stated it this way is because, remember, go back to the original idea. We're not just talking about love, we're
Right.
asking ourselves,
I thought it automatically went to that, but it didn't. That's my bad. You guys.
my bad.
This is the tape. This is the tape that we use.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, and
We're back.
And it ran out, and we didn't see it, and it probably ran out
Pretty early on.
15 minutes ago.
Absolutely one of the best podcasts ever recorded.
And
We solved all the world's problems.
we cured cancer.
We did.
We forgot to format the disc.
Oh my
It's all
goodness.
good. And so we had this great podcast and really, really good stuff. I enjoyed talking with you guys.
I enjoyed talking with you. I
But
always
none of it
enjoy
was
talking with you a
recorded.
little bit.
None
Well,
of it.
some of it was. I think.
Well, just up till that last bit.
I don't know.
We can recap.
Well, the recap, okay. I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
sure where that left off exactly, but...
We can go back and review if you'd like.
No. Suffice it to say, what we were talking about yesterday at Compass Church, we were asking ourselves the question, asking ourselves certain questions about, where are we spiritually? And one of those was what we talked about yesterday, do I have a growing love for others?
Right.
Yep.
And so we were hammering that out a little bit, and that it's a reflection of God's love for us. Yeah. That we didn't want to get too bogged down into how do we express it to others, but just is there love for other people happening in my heart? Is what's happening.
But how do we know love, Johnny?
He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love.
That would be
Psalm 1 John
3:18,
3:16. No.
Well, 16 was
That's right.
kind of like, but 18 was your
That's
little
right.
children.
Oh, little children, let us not love in word or speech, but in action and in truth.
Action and truth.
But just that God demonstrated His love for us, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Anyway, it'd be really hard to rehash all the things that we were talking about before, but it's okay. It's all right. It was awesome, though.
My fault, and I'm very sorry.
Well, it's, like that no podcast.
Yeah, this is sort of the podcast that sort of happened, but it's sort of the secret.
This is a podcast that didn't happen.
It
was the podcast that was the best podcast, but the tape ran out.
It was so
Tape.
good. It's not a tape. There's no tape.
I know, there's no tape. What? I thought those things had little bitty tiny tapes
No,
in them.
there's no tape.
Going around.
Oh, man.
Little guys in there run around.
Oh.
But you know,
Anyway.
y'all should look at John 3:16.
Yeah, for God so loved the world.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
Y'all should look at
true
that.
love.
So I'm going to bring it up every single podcast. Just gonna throw that out there. When you get it, when you get it,
No, it's okay.
you'll get it.
I mean, there was something we were talking about right when we realized that it was dead. I can't remember what I was going to say. So anyway, we're sorry, folks. But just know that we love you.
We do. We love you.
I truly do.
And yeah, so was there anything else about that we just really need to hammer, you think?
You know, here's my thought. You know, we were talking about growing in love and how, yeah, I know you don't want to get into some of the other stuff, but you know, I think you just need to realize that you just hope that someday you'll get to spend eternity with that person in a much better place, and that is what God wants for us.
Yeah.
And that is the love that He has shown us. So,
And He is love.
all right,
And
get off it.
No. That's so good. Oh, well, I think probably the biggest thing I was saying is that you can't properly love if you don't have a growing love for people in your heart and life. That is an indicator that something is wrong.
Correct.
But the best way to have that happen and those around you and to express that to others is to make sure you are personally experiencing
Yes.
the love of God
Right.
and how He personally is loving you. And Ephesians even tells us that I want you to know God's love and the depth of it and the height of it and how strong it is. Although we'll never fully understand it, Paul wanted the Ephesians to know and experience God's love. And the thing is, as we experience God's love, then it becomes a natural way to overflow around us.
I was about to say that. You were talking about you're going to overflow with what you're filled with.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Whatever you're full. I said whatever you're full of, you will overflow.
That's the garbage in, garbage out kind of thing, right?
Kind of. Yeah. It's
God's love in, God's love out.
It was, in Philippians, we were looking at Philippians 1, and Paul was encouraging the Philippians. This was a while back. We were talking about that, but that their love would grow and overflow in their understanding of who God is.
Yeah.
And I was just saying that whatever you are full of, that is what you will overflow with when you're at that point of overflowing. If it's bitterness, if it's hatred, if it's whatever, that's what's coming out of you. It's whatever's in you will come out of you.
Right.
And so, anyway, how important it is to really, truly experience God's love. But anyway, it was really good.
I don't know when it cut off.
all.
Maybe we got to get a bunch of good stuff on that one.
Well, I would just encourage you to just not rely on the podcast, but come join us.
Yep.
Join us on Sunday.
When?
Every Sunday morning at Arkansas Elementary School in Aurora, Colorado. We meet at 10 a.m. and we would love to have you as our guest this Sunday. You miss a little, you miss a lot.
If you miss a Sunday, it'll be like missing the part of the podcast that's missing.
Yeah, that's right.
I would say
It's all good,
Sunday,
dude.
10
all
a.m.
good.
sharp, but sharp doesn't
Nobody there is
happen.
sharp. There's nobody there
No,
sharp.
it's like ish.
Ish.
That's not true.
10 to winner.
No. There's design. We do start at 10.
We do.
We actually do
that's-
start.
We do. We do pretty good.
All right.
All right.
Guys. Well, I think that's just going to have to be it for tonight. Thanks for stopping by. But you missed it. Next time it's going to be greater. Who knows? We'll see. Any final words?
Peace. Oh, it's not time yet.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Like
Love you
always.
guys.
That's pretty much it.
Back at you. Ditto.
Peace.
I agree. I think that's all we got for tonight. We're up.